Simone Biles, the Olympic gymnast, the best of the best, bar none. There is no one else even remotely in her league in women's gymnastics. I guess in an attempt to be inclusive and virtuous, decided to sell out all women and girls who have dreams to achieve and to succeed, and to specifically personally attack and body shame me. She tweeted this out of the blue, like this came out of nowhere, and she said, Riley, me, you're truly sick, all of this campaigning because you lost a race. First of all, if she's insinuating I lost to a man, I've lost several races in my career, that's part of being an athlete. But if she's saying I lost to a man, that's factually incorrect. We tied. Besides the point. Straight up sore loser. You should be uplifting the trans community and perhaps finding a way to make sports inclusive or creating a new avenue where trans feel safe in sports. Let me get something straight. It's my job. It's the women's job. This is what Simone Biles is saying. It's the women's job to find a way for the men's feelings to be validated, for their identity to be affirmed. That's not my job, actually, at all. So to say I should be doing this is insane. If she wants to use her platform to uplift men and women's sports, then by all means, but it's certainly not my job, and I don't believe it's the job of any woman to do this. She goes on to say, but instead you bully them. One thing's for sure, no one in sports is safe with you around. I can't even make sense of that last part, actually. Then out of the blue, she tweeted this. Bully someone your own size, which would ironically be a male, which is hilarious, really for two reasons. Number one, she's acknowledging there are differences, like physiological, biological differences between men and women in saying this. Secondly, I'm 5'5", which might seem like a giant to someone who's like 4'7", 4'8", but I'm pretty standard size for a woman. I guess like relatively muscular, right? Being an athlete, I would imagine Simone would understand that, but I weigh like 135 pounds, 5'5", of pretty much pure muscle. And again, if anyone would understand that, you would think it's Simone Biles, a woman who has historically been scrutinized for having a very muscular, masculine looking body. She was scrutinized to the point she did this whole body positivity campaign. Then she has the nerve to say that I look like a man. And not to mention, this is a woman who has been incredibly brave in calling out and witnessing the horrific sexual abuse that she and hundreds of other female gymnasts faced at the hands of one sexual predator, that predator being Larry Nassar. In the same breath, believing that vulnerable women should be forced to strip down naked in front of men in locker rooms so long as it makes the man feel happy. If Larry Nassar came out as trans, would Simone think it's responsible or safe for him to be housed in a women's prison? To be very, very clear, I could care less what Simone Biles says about me. I'm a very secure person. I know I'm on the right side of history. I'm married, so if she wants to say I look like a man, I literally could care less. The most heartbreaking part about this, for me, is the platform that she has and the amount of young girls who look up to her. That she just, in a blink of an eye, sold out to appear to be virtuous. What we saw from Simone is
Riley Gaines. I have so much respect and admiration for this woman who really has been treated unfairly, but she has been brave enough to stand up for this issue of women in sports. Yeah. Getting these guys, these nuts, I call them nuts. She's been nicer than me. I call them, these people are insane. These biological males who want to dress like women and battle and play against women. She has been the lone wolf in this. She started this whole campaign. And for this Simone Biles to say such nasty things about her, how dare her? To me, it's just like, if stay silent. Be quiet. If this isn't your fight, if you are not, you don't care about men being in girls' sports because you're done, just sit down and shut up somewhere. We don't need you to speak on it. If you don't want to stand up for girls in sports, just shut up. Yeah. Now you're done. You've gotten all of your medals, all of your achievements, all of your winnings and sponsorships and things. And now you're speaking out against another gymnast who's standing up for other athletes, female athletes. It's really pathetic. It really is.
Blowing up for good reason. I think a lot of people are posting is Simone who? She would be Simone who if men were allowed to compete against her. We know this. We know this about almost all of the women, and that's where it's coming to. And that is what Riley is trying to stop. And you're right. I've met her, I've spoken with her. She's the amount of bravery to go out and to be at the top. She could have actually just been like most of these other young women and just sat there and been happy with second or third place or not placing at all, just to not go against what is popular right now. She didn't do that. She took a stand, and she comes under so much criticism, death threats, hate mail, you name it, to protect my daughters. Really, to protect your daughters, your grandchildren in sports, to keep men out of women's private spaces. This is so basic. I don't know what Simone was getting at. I don't know if it's like she has a big circle of transgender friends. If somebody said, we need somebody to come out and speak against Riley, you're it. Was this a tag? You're it. What are you thinking, Simone, with this sabotage? This is self-sabotage. And I go back, because even Serena Williams was very clear in an interview years back that men's sports, men's tennis and women's tennis are not the same. She admitted she would not be able to beat even one of the lower men, let alone the best. They hit harder. They're stronger. We know this. Facts are facts. And so why would you do this against another woman who, again, is, we're talking about 5'5". She's very petite. I've stood next to her and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so big compared to Riley or any gymnast. It's sad. What kind of example is that? What kind of example is this?
It's pathetic. I've lost all respect for this woman. I don't care if she's an amazing gymnast. I've lost all respect for her.
It's sad. And to accuse her of being a threat, of being toxic for other to sports, no. I don't. You're right. Sit down. Shut up. Stay out of it. You got your football player. You got your life going on. I'm trying to protect my kids. I'm trying to protect my little girl, who, by the way, for our audience, she's 7 years old and she just got accepted into a competitive gymnastics team.
Wow. So, congratulations.
Yeah. So my own little 7-year-old is out there, and I can't imagine her having to compete against boys. And if I see a little boy try to walk in a locker room in Never Never Land, am I or my husband going to let that fly? That does not happen. And it's because of women like Riley, and because of this president who created and signed into law, stop preventing this. And then you got the Gavin Newsoms of the world, with their pushback. But just this is
even Gavin Newsom came around. He changed his tune on this. He came out recently and said that he didn't believe biological men should be in women's sports. He came out and said he doesn't believe it. He doesn't agree with it, which is, and not even just him, most of the country are on the side of Riley Gaines.
Yes.
Poll after poll continues to show that most of the country do not support biological men in women's sports. They just don't. So
they shouldn't. And why should women be fighting for trans men to compete? Why do women have to do that? We don't. We don't. Right. We fought for years just to be able to compete in our own category so things would be fair. So why should we be going out of our way for trans men, for mediocre men who couldn't make it in the male division to compete against us? We don't have to do a thing. We can keep fighting, keep training, and protect our children in the process, and let that community create something or fight with the powers that be that, own the sports industries. Let them do it. It shouldn't be up to girls and women to stand up and do that. It shouldn't be. And it's, by the way, it's not. So Simone, you were so wrong, and you deserve all the backlash you are getting. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. But we know why this is going on. Folks, you guys who just coming in, please hit that like button, because it certainly helps to get our video out to as many people as possible. But folks, this is Christian conservative, and we always bring it back to the Bible. Mm-hmm. And this trans agenda is a demonic agenda. And this is why this is becoming, the go-to thing, because we know we live in a fallen world. We know that we are in end times, and this trans agenda is all about that. What are your thoughts there, Michelle?
You were reading my mind, even though you're not, because this is Christian conservative. We're not into that. You were moved by the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was moving and saying, this is what it's coming down to, that we do not have to encourage or support demonic activity or sin. Let's just call it sin.
Right.
None of us as Christians have to support sin and say it's okay. Right and wrong are two different things, and we don't have to support wrong and call it right. And that's what they're pushing Christians to do right now. They're pushing culture into our Christianity, and we have to push back with our faith and say, no, they are not the same. We are separated. We are apart. And I don't care what your sin is, frankly.
Right.
You do, but we don't have to encourage it. So all
Right.
of us fall, but I don't have to say, hey, kids, this is the best way to fall. Go and do all the bad things and let's support it and then find Jesus. No, everyone, this is the time we stand up for righteousness. We cannot support it. We can't stand by it. And we
Right.
can't call it right. It's sin.
Exactly. And it's an attack against God's design. You know, this trans agenda is a rejection of God's creative order. It says God made a mistake. To deny biological sex is to call God a liar, a tactic right out of Satan's playbook. It creates confusion, and God is not the author of confusion. And this is why they're targeting the younger generation. They're targeting our children for this, because they know the trans movement sows mass confusion, especially in children, deliberately blurring truth, biology, and identity. And so confusion is the hallmark of demonic influence, not divine truth. And this is why we're seeing that this continues to come up more and more. People are driven crazy behind people like Riley Gaines, us, Megyn Kelly, you know, all of the people that have stood out. It's not many though, but unfortunately, it's not many. But